Hello, fourth grade. If you can see me, I'm down here. Let's move this pencil out of the way. This thing right here is what's recording what I'm doing. It's on a box. So what we're looking at with this project is we focused on looking at Jean Arp's work before this. And whenever we're looking at that, we're kind of wondering if art has to have all of these rules and be super well planned, or if art can just kind of happen by random and by chance. So Jean Arp was classically trained, went through all the schools, and then with that knowledge, he decided to start breaking rules. So it's like if you're breaking art rules without that background knowledge, it's almost like you're breaking them, but you don't know why. So he kind of took this idea that art didn't have to be this super duper well planned out. It can just be a stream of conscious. And whenever I'm saying stream of conscious, that just means whatever is coming to your mind at that moment. And then also his work had all of these flowy lines. So we're going to add both of those concepts together whenever we're making this. So for this project, you're going to need paper, pencil eraser. I have a thin Sharpie so I can add in some more details, and then I'm using colored pencils. I would recommend colored pencils for this project just because we're going to want to get some fine details, and I think colored pencils do the best job of that. So the first thing we're going to start out with is we're going to start out with those flowy lines that we saw. So we saw in a lot of his work, he had these kind of like wavy, like swirly lines to it. So this is going to be a little bit different for everyone, but I want you to just kind of close your eyes and start thinking about just swirly lines. And then go back to your paper and whatever comes to your mind while you're making some swirly lines. So there's one. I'm going to come in and add another in. And I'm not planning this. I'm just kind of doing these free-flowing lines. So there's two. Maybe, I think I will add in a third. So you can already see I'm creating all these like weird kind of bulbous shapes. Third line. So you don't want to super plan these. Maybe I'll add another one over here. You just kind of want it to be like whatever's coming to your mind at that moment. So if you can see, I have all of these. I think they look rather pretty. Pretty lines. And they're free-flowing, and this is just what came to my mind at that moment. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my colored pencils and my mini Sharpie, and I'm going to go start filling in all of these different sections. These different sections can be filled with whatever you want. This should take a little bit of time just because look at all of these different sections I have to work with. But the whole point is you can fill this in with pretty much whatever you want. Obviously, we made all these lines, so I don't want to see like the same color all throughout. You can put in here different kinds of colors. You can do gradation, so maybe it's light going darker or two colors mixed together. You can add in textures, you can add in small designs, you can add in words, but basically you want to look at like all of these different shapes that you created as like their own space for you to do something with. You can do like repeating patterns, but the whole point is that we have all of these beautiful shapes that we just made like from our brain to do different things in. And because Jean Arp was someone that kind of just liked to do whatever was like on his mind in that moment, that's what you guys can do with this. So you can add in words to some, patterns and textures to some. I'm going to start working on mine, and then I'm going to check back in with you guys when it's about halfway done. And then again, whenever it's done. So I have this as my base. So now I can start filling in all of these with pretty much whatever I want. Textures, small designs, words, just color and gradation. Maybe I'll mix some color. But the rule is that there's kind of not anything set in stone that we're supposed to do with this. It's like whatever you think looks nice, whatever colors you really like. So I'm going to get started on mine, and then I will check back in with you guys. Oh, taking me a second to pause it. I'll be back momentarily. Okay, so I started working on mine. If you can see, I added in some words. I added in some words over there. I added in a design here and here. But what I want to do is I want to do a gradation similar to right here and here, and I thought I would show you guys how I do that. So I'm going to do dark blue to light blue. So to start, I know these are kind of weird shapes that you created. I like to outline this one using my darker. Maybe I'll go around here and I'm going to stop about halfway through because then I'm going to fill in my light one. So now I have my lighter blue. Move it to where you guys can see it the best right here. We're coloring in here. So I just outlined this dark blue. I'm going to come in with my lighter blue and go around the edge, get some white. So I'm going to clean that up. And then I'm going to start coloring, and I'm going to press lighter as I go. And I'm going to go to about, not all the way over, but also not only halfway, about a little over half. So then I start filling it in around the edge. You can press a little harder over here because this should be dark blue. And then I'm bringing it over, and then I'm getting lighter. So I'm just pressing down lighter. I'm like loosening up. And I'm bringing it over, and then I'm going to get lighter and lighter. So I pressed harder. As I was going, I just started like not pressing it hard. I started lifting up the pencil a little bit. And so now we're going to come in with the other blue, and I'm going to blend it in. So we're starting this edge with the blue. You can press a little harder around this edge. Right, and then I'm coloring it in. Oop, forgot to do that line. And then as I'm coming in, I'm doing the same thing I did with the blue, in that I'm pressing, but I'm going to start getting lighter. So I'm pressing down, but I'm pressing not as hard. But I am bringing it into the other blue a little bit just so they can mix together. And then I'm pressing lighter and lighter and lighter. And then I'm lifting off. And then you guys can kind of see how it's going from that darker blue to the lighter blue. And you guys can kind of see what I've gotten done so far. I decided to do little X's over there. I was listening to a song and it said... There we go. Sorry, trying to move it. It said there is a light, so I decided to do like an explosion of yellow in the dark. I just like flowers, so I did flowers. And so then I can just kind of carry that through the rest of these. I can continue to do these same patterns, or I can change it up. It's really just what comes to your mind. It's actually quite calming, I think, because you created all of these different shapes that you can choose what to do with. If you're getting overwhelmed and you're like, well, I don't have any ideas right now, I don't know, take a break. Look around. Look at the colors and the lines and the textures around you, and that can help with inspiration. Sometimes it helps just to take a complete break and go get a cup of water, chill for a second, because I get that this can be a lot. But at the same time, you can choose to just do colors if you just want to do colors, or you can choose to add words into each of them. It's up to you. The whole point of this is we added in these fluid lines to create all of these different areas for you to kind of do whatever comes to your mind at that moment. So this is just kind of stuff like, don't spend too much time like focusing on like, is this gonna look good and blah, 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 because this is yours. And the whole point of this is to kind of just create whatever's in your mind at that moment, which is why I said sometimes if your mind's just like putty, you gotta take a little break. You gotta recharge. I know that art can be draining sometimes, but also by the end of it, it's so rewarding because you have a beautiful piece of artwork. So I'm going to keep working on this, and I will check back in with you guys. For you guys, it's just one video, but for me, I pause it and I work and I come back. But yeah, I'm going to just keep working on the rest of this. I can show you guys kind of maybe before I start working on this on my own. Like, let's say over here, maybe I want to do... what do I want to do? Maybe I want to do squiggly texture in this one. So then I'm looking out for those pencil lines because you want to keep it in their different shapes, and that's kind of what makes it this interesting flowy design. And maybe over here in this one, I want to just add like lines. So I'm adding in lines that I can color on top of later. That's why I have my thin Sharpie, just to give me something else to add some details with. And maybe, in this one, I'll do like just circles throughout it. And that'll be in this one. So I'm just thinking about this and working as I go. If you don't have any ideas, just color it in. Just use one color and just decide to color it all in. I'm going to keep working on this. And yeah, I'll check in with you guys in a bit.